I was at the 5th Midwest. I think it was the 5th they ever had. It was over in the Sherman House, which was then the best hotel in downtown Chicago. And I brought my Miami Senior High School band up here in 1951. And we flew here, which was a big thing. It took 2 DC-6s to get 102 people up here and back to Miami. And one of my problems was that they gave me Friday night, which is the #1 night, but I had to take #2 because I had a football game on Friday night. And so we played our concert here, packed up our bags, jumped on the airplane, flew home overnight on the red-eye charter special, and had a rehearsal the next afternoon and played in the Orange Bowl for a big football game the next night. And so we came up here. We came up here almost a week ahead because I like to rehearse and get the kids settled down. We rehearsed every morning and had something for them in the afternoon. Then rehearsed at night because I knew it was a tough venue. And so finally the great evening came, and it was really awe-inspiring to walk into that auditorium and find whatever, I think 3,000 people. They had a big ballroom over there, and they were just packed in. They had this balcony around the top, and the people were looking on us. It was really something. We opened with the band playing, it was a march dedicated to school musicians, Man of Steel, Steel Man or something like that, by Bell Sterling. And I put 4 trumpets and 4 trombones up front for the ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. And the band was pushed back real far on the stage. It wasn't big enough because I had some majorettes coming in for a surprise thing later on. And I brought up my stick, and the last chair tuba sousaphone player, I don't own any tubas then, put up his horn. They hadn't put a rail across the back of the riser. He fell completely off the back riser. And I looked at, all I could see was my sousaphone descending off the back riser. And the guys on either side just hitched their chairs up and filled in the answers.
I married Al in 1953, and we were in Miami, and so 53 was my first convention. And then we came to Indiana, and then I developed a band at Audubon High School, which also played at Midwest in 1960. I think we're the only husband and wife team that have done that. And my band was from a small, very small school. We had 100 in high school, but I had 80 in the band, and they had heard it at the Indiana Music Educators and had asked me to apply. Anyway, we came up, and we also played in the old Sherman Hotel, and we played El Guarni, and of course a number of easier numbers. I followed Al's format, and I had Bill Ludwig and his father, William Ludwig Sr., play a drum duet with a number that the band had. And then we had some other personalities do a Harold Walter's High Society Dixieland thing.
Paul Yoder playing drums.
With Paul Yoder playing drums and so forth. It was an hour-and-a-half concert then. That's a long time. So we used to rehearse 3 hours a night, several nights a week, to develop endurance. And then we came up also several days ahead of time so we could rehearse, and they got to see some things in the city. When I left Audubon to come up here and make all the arrangements, the town of Audubon is a farm community, and they're very conservative. And they said, well, that's a big city, so we'll have to have 1 chaperone in every room of 4 kids. So we had a chaperone, an adult, in every room of 4 kids to make sure somebody in the city didn't run off with the children.
I was raised in Central Oregon, and I went to a high school that had 30 students in it, and I was recruited by a woman band director. And this little school where I lived, Wasco, we had festivals, and contests, and soul contests. We had everything really that we have right now. Down the pike, about 9 miles down the pike, there was another band called Arlington, and they had a band director by the name Simpson. He used to stand and play his cornet with one hand and conduct on the other. And he was always featuring this little kid, this little tow-headed kid. Now, I didn't know who the tow-headed kid was until much later. He was Doc Severs.
started in the band business in 1927. Dale Harris. Dale Harris is the man who founded the ASBEA. I was pleased to help him later on. But I do remember the next night they took us all out to a football field or a stadium, marched us out in the field. I thought, this is great. I'd never been on a field like this. We were so far, I couldn't see who was conducting it. I didn't notice that he only conducted it with one hand. And so I'm one of the few living people today that played under John Phillips. He was conducting. In later life, he fell off the horse, you know, and he injured his left hand. He conducted. He died probably about 9 months later. I'm very pleased to have that memory in my mind there. But I was very full of myself because here I was going to be a guest conductor. So I said to him, well, how do you conduct a mass band? He said, well, you wear white coats so they can see you. And he says, you get a big long baton so they can see it. He says, you get up there and the music stand. He says, you go tap, tap, and shout, go, and ring down the stick. He said, don't worry after that. So, fine. So that night, I wore my white coat, got my stick, got the bands out there. When I got out this field, there was no podium. I said to the guy running, I said, I gotta have a podium. He said, what the hell's a podium? I said, it's what the directors stand on so they can see him. So that the audience will know he's the director, see? So they said, fine, so he backed up in a pickup truck. This was Florida, so they hopped on the back of the pickup truck. I cut my suit off face and brought up my baton. I said, take my baton, whack, whack on the cab of the truck, and I said, go! He said, yes, sir. He dropped